Welcome to Healthy Births, Happy Babies, where we share tips, tools, and stories grounded in natural childbirth and parenting principles, so that instead of feeling overwhelmed and confused during this exciting time in your life, you feel safe, supported, and empowered in your childbirth and parenting journey. And now, here's your host, Dr. Jay Warren.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Healthy Births, Happy Babies. My name is Dr. Jay Warren. I'm the Family Wellness Chiropractor and the Wellness Care Coordinator here at the Cap Wellness Center. And today is part 2 of We're Having a Baby Naturally. We're having our second conversation with Amanda Dudley, and her husband is joining us today, HR. So we're going to get an update about where they're at their pregnancy, after the holidays, how things have gone, and what's ahead for them. So before we do that, I want to take a moment, as always, to thank our sponsor, the Cap Wellness Center, who's making this podcast possible for you. The Cap Wellness Center in Encinitas, California, has assembled an incredible team of fully certified holistic healthcare professionals that offer the very best in prenatal, postpartum, and pediatric wellness services. We offer acupuncture, chiropractic, massage, yoga, lactation support services, and a wide variety of birth education classes to ensure that you are fully able to experience the power of birth. So now let's switch over to our conversation with Amanda and HR and find out how they're doing. All right, Amanda, HR, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Amanda, it's been a number of weeks since we've spoken last. I think it was back, you were 13 and a half weeks when we were talking about the very first episode and about the journey you're starting, and it was all about kind of starting to tell your family, and I think you still had some other family members to tell. So if you could just kind of catch us up, what's been going on in the last couple of weeks, that would be great. What week are you in now?
21 weeks tomorrow.
21. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So how have things been going in general for you?
Pretty good. I've been really lucky. I think I've overall so far had a pretty mild pregnancy in comparison to, some others that have a little more severe symptoms. For the main part lately, it's more back pain and heartburn are my big complaints, I guess.
And heartburn, right. Yeah, and I know I've been seeing you in the office for adjustments. And I also did an interview just shortly with a homeopath that has some good information about heartburn. So as soon as that's up, definitely take advantage of that and hopefully get some help with her as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then I know you were trying to rearrange things with your desk chair at work to try and be a little more comfortable. Was that helpful?
Yeah, I switched out my chairs, so I got a chair that has a lot more adjustable parts, I guess, moving parts, and also got a little kind of lumbar support pillow, and that seems to be helping a bit, kind of propping me up, because I just feel like after sitting for a long period of time, which I have a full-time job, and I sit at a desk most of the day, so I think that's helping, but it's hard to say, too, because as I get further along, I think it's just more uncomfortable to be sitting for long periods of time or stay in one position for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's so important ergonomically to just keep moving because the muscle system's working so much harder, supporting not only your back while you're sitting at a chair, but also now the spine's being stressed by the baby. So the more you can move, the more you can stretch, the better chair you have. That you texted me a picture of it, and it looks to be a very good chair. So you're very lucky to have something like that to help now, but especially in the next coming weeks and months, it'll make a big difference for you.
Yeah.
Good. And I want to, introduce to everybody also HR, your husband. So HR, you weren't on the podcast last time when we were talking about family reveals, but and just kind of about expectations going into the pregnancy. First, would you mind sharing about, your experience of, revealing your pregnancy to her family and then also yours? What can you share with us?
So it was kind of two separate experiences. We had 2 different meetings with her side of the family. One was her mom's side, the other being her dad's side. And Her mom's side, you kind of got the fairy tale excitement that everybody got. My side of the family, not so much. They were still supportive and excited. It's just they don't show it as much. But overall, not too bad.
Okay. Well, that's good. It's good to have, support rather than shock and and chaos going there. But I know, Amanda, from your story of things, it really was that, expectation, excitement that everybody wants, right? So
right.
that must have been really fun.
Yeah, it was. And then we got to tell. So we actually spent Christmas Day with HR's family, and like you said, they were more calm, but also happy for us. And then we were able to tell my dad's side of the family with all of them, and my grandma on that side it took her a while to pick up on the little gift we had got her with the ultrasound picture of what we were giving her, and it was pretty comical, and everyone else was trying to contain their excitement not to give it away and let her get it on her own time, but they were all really happy.
She didn't understand what the ultrasound picture was?
No, my aunt was sitting right next to her, and her eyes were just lighting up looking at me, like wanting to say congratulations and jump up and down, but she was waiting for my grandma to get it, and she finally was like, Grandma, do you know what that is? Pointing to the picture, and she said, no, and I said, Grandma, turn it over, and she looked and saw the back that said, baby Dudley, and and then she, got it all excited. She's been asking for another great grandkid for a little while. She kept hinting at us at Thanksgiving because her only great granddaughter has just turned 2 recently, so she wants another little one.
Well, way to be a good great granddaughter or granddaughter to bring another one into her experience. Yeah. And so the holidays go by, and we're into February now. You're at 21 weeks, and what are things like now? I think we were talking about a little before. Typically with new parents, this time in the 20s of a pregnancy can be, I don't know, just a little more calm because there isn't as much excitement of the newness of finding out you're pregnant. And then the other third trimester, taking all the classes, hasn't necessarily started. Have you found that to be your experience, or is it different?
No, I think that's kind of right. I think the excitement for us has died down, and not that we're not excited, we've just, or we've accepted it more, and, we know that it's real, it's coming, it's happening. I'd say right now we're starting to just get into more of like a preparation time, whereas, I don't know, maybe some people probably start reading books and getting their nursery ready, as soon as they find out, but we've been kind of slow moving, I guess, with all of that. We have some things we're trying to declutter our house, and then we just started our baby registry this past weekend, and that's like kind of an ongoing thing. We didn't do it quite all in one day because it's kind of a lot, but I think for me, it's just, I'm getting into the nesting stage, I guess you could say, where I feel like this is the trimester where I know I'm going to have more energy, and so I want to get as much accomplished as I can during this next couple of months before I'm just constantly tired and uncomfortable and big.
Right. What was doing the baby registry like for you? Was it fun, or was it just overwhelming, or both?
I think it was a little bit of both. It's definitely a lot. I think for me, I need like the motivation of knowing what we're going to be getting in order to clear out the space and get things ready. Like at home, I needed that, whereas HR, I think, he's kind of opposite and wants everything cleared out so that he can envision all the things that we're going to register for in that space. So we kind of came to a compromise and just decided to look and kind of just start with like the basics. So that's what we did. And but there's a lot to register for. There's a lot to kind of research and decide on what's the best. And but we definitely tried to make it a fun experience. And we started in the morning and then broke for lunch and then went back at it and then stopped when our feet hurt.
It can be quite a marathon and definitely overwhelming. And one thing, having gone through it myself too, that I'd share with you is that you can change it all the time, right?
Right.
Like just because you did the little scanner on one of the car seats doesn't necessarily mean, you can't change it when you learn something else out. And everything's exchangeable, returnable as well. So it's just that the registry can be a weird thing for a lot of couples because they're like, well, I feel kind of guilty about, asking for all this stuff. But if you'll find out, like, people are so happy to celebrate with you, and if they're going to give you gifts, you might as well kind of point them in the right direction of ones that you want rather than, things that you either already have or really aren't what you want to bring into your kiddo's existence.
Right, and something that was really helpful too, that I was really grateful and appreciative of is a day or so before we were going to go register, I just basically kind of made a post on social media on my Facebook page asking, because I have a lot of mom friends, and asking what are the must-haves, what are your favorite brands, what things are unnecessary, just to get some feedback, because I think starting brand new, not knowing, having this being our first, I just wanted a little bit of guidance because there's just so many products, so many different brands, and I know everyone's different and every baby's different, but it helped to have some kind of direction as to where to start, I guess. And I just had like an outpouring of tons of friends and people giving advice, and that was really, really helpful and really nice.
That's a really smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of times, just going right into Consumer Reports is one way of doing things, but going to your friends and getting the in the trenches reports of like, oh, this really helps, or this is a complete waste.
Right.
That's a really good idea. Smart move by you.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so as far as this kind of preparation time of things, decluttering and kind of envisioning, is really the registry the kind of main thing that you are doing to gear around it, or are you doing other kind of like moves within the house, like redoing things?
I wouldn't say we're redoing things, but I've had a storage unit kind of for a while. It's kind of silly. It's just storing things that I obviously don't need or use because I don't even know what all has been in there for years. I think a lot of it's probably sentimental and pictures and yearbooks and things like that, but that's something I've been meaning to clear out, and so I kind of started working on that, and by clearing that out, I was bringing more stuff, more junk essentially into the house, and so now we just have boxes that I need to go through and get rid of things and decide what's important to keep and what I can get rid of. And I just kind of want to purge right now to make the space for baby. We live in a decent-sized one-bedroom apartment, and so our bedroom is big enough that we can definitely, and also kind of the shape of it, kind of got like a rectangle with it's kind of an L-shaped. So we kind of have the space to do a little nursery-type area in our bedroom and have it work out. So obviously I need to just clear out what I've brought into the house now, and then it'll be probably just figuring out how we're going to configure like our bed and the dresser and crib and all of that in our bedroom.
Right.
So.
Well, one of the good things about the way you're doing it is having the stuff that you need to go through in front of you and in your face, and potentially like underfoot, and you kicking it while you're trying to move around in the house. It forces you to go through it.
Yeah.
Rather than
definitely.
trying to figure out what Saturday you want to go to their storage unit to go through stuff, like that tends to get bumped. You're just it's much too nice outside. I'm going to do that next week, and then it never gets done.
Right. Yeah, and it's just an unnecessary expense too, spending the money on storing stuff that it could have replaced everything in there cost-wise 10 times probably.
Yeah, it's good to be lighter and having less stuff. With baby, lots of stuff is coming your way, so it's good to make room for all of that good stuff that's coming to you.
Exactly. We want to kind of have a minimalist approach and just have the basics of what we need. Babies, I don't think, need a whole lot, and I think sometimes we can get so excited and just buy every little thing and gadget and toy because we think it's exciting and fun, but babies don't really need a whole lot, I don't think.
Yeah.
So as long as they're fed and feel loved and have a place to sleep and all that, they're good.
Yeah. And then as you go through and you find or discover there's things that you want, then you can get them then.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Good. And so, HR, I wanted to kind of circle back around, and because Amanda shared with us last time a lot of her kind of expectations around getting pregnant and being a mom and those kind of things. And I'd love to get the dad's perspective on that, you as a dad, but also to share kind of more of what you are processing through to help the other dads that are listening out there too, because so much of our podcast is definitely like women-centered and baby-centered, but us dads need some advice as well. So what can you tell us about kind of like your process you've been going through in the last couple months?
Well, a little bit of everything. I mean, I've been excited, I've been terrified, I've been nervous, and just mainly trying to prepare and trying to be supportive is the biggest things that I've been trying to do. Trying to pick up more around the house, do more things, and just be supportive and being at the appointments and just being as prepared as I can be. Right.
Have you been around kids a lot yourself, or is little ones new to you?
Little ones is kind of new to me. If you're talking about like the 5 to 10 range, I'm pretty good with those kids. Anything younger than that, they've made me a little nervous over the years. They kind of scare me just because they trip and fall and I get nervous for them. But not the most experience with a younger age. So this will definitely be new for me.
Right.
He's never changed a diaper, so that'll be exciting.
Well, if it's any consolation, HR, I changed one diaper before my son was born, and it was like about 2 months before he was born. A friend of mine was like, you need to do this once at least, and you'll get a lot of practice. So don't worry about not having done a lot beforehand. You'll figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
And again, too, like your due date or the guest date is around June 23rd, right? So once that date comes around, you'll have a lot of in the trenches experience with the little one, and as long as you're coming from love, like you'll do great and you'll connect right away, I'm sure. Yeah. And so with the appointments that you guys are going to, like what kind of for you, HR, like are you able to like learn around more so of like what's going on, or is it purely just being unsupportive? Or I imagine it's got to be both, right?
It is both. I've definitely learned quite a bit with the ultrasound appointments. The chiropractic appointments with you for Amanda's back has been a little bit different for me because I used to go through chiropractic, and it's a completely different mindset, especially with her being pregnant and everything. But ultrasound appointments have definitely been just seeing how they measure size and checking how the baby's doing and measuring and checking the baby's heart and listening to the baby's heart. It's been really exciting and definitely a learning experience for sure.
Yeah. Can I ask, how did everything go with that ultrasound appointment, the measurements one?
Everything was good.
Great.
There was a light spot.
Yeah, they found that, I don't know what it's called, the echogenic something or other. It's basically a bright spot on the heart in the ultrasound that they were, that they basically said that typically it's nothing, but this was like the ultrasound that's really, really thorough, where they measure everything on the baby, and they're just looking for any indications of any, abnormalities or issues or problems. But then they also do the blood work. So I had my blood work done, and I think it's something that's not anything to worry about. But of course, being a first-time mom, you hear, oh, this is, anything that could be out of the ordinary, you start to worry. And HR has kind of been he's always grounded me and kind of reassured me that everything will be fine. And, for us, it's not a matter of like, oh, if the baby isn't perfectly healthy or there were any issues, that we would love the baby any less. So it's not really something we're terribly concerned about. But of course, just like anyone else, we want a healthy baby. So there's that. But we're just waiting to get my blood work back, and then hopefully it's nothing. And then but I think those ultrasound appointments are the most fun ones, where they're really thorough and you get to see the baby and watch the baby moving and see all the measurements. They kind of talk you through the whole process of what they're looking at. They go to look at the heart, they look at the brain, they look at the the length of every bone and measure the head and the baby's length and all of that stuff. And it's just really fun to kind of see. Our baby is always really active, moving a ton, which makes, I don't know if the appointments usually are as long as they are, but I feel like they have difficulty getting what they're looking for because the baby will just keep moving around. And I don't know if it's difficult for them, but we kind of love it because it's kind of neat to see the baby move and change positions, go from laying on its back to, laying on its stomach and all of that. We got at our last ultrasound appointment, we had at one point the baby gave us a thumbs up. It was it was a very, very clear, distinct, fist closed but thumb was out.
Oh, that's
and that
great.
Was pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't get a picture of that moment, unfortunately, but it's ingrained in our minds, so that was kind of neat.
Well, when baby comes and gives you the thumbs up again, you'll be like, oh yeah, that is your sign to us.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Well, so in the next coming weeks, what's on tap for you guys? Do you have any of the upcoming classes? There's one in March, I think you're starting to take, yeah?
Yeah, so we have some classes that we've signed up for. I think the first one is actually, I think it's April.
Okay.
Beginning of April, we start hypnobirthing classes.
Great.
And then in May, we're taking breastfeeding 101. And then towards the end of May, we're going to take a newborn 101 care, which will be, I think, really beneficial for HR so he can kind of feel more prepared and, know what to expect. I've taken care of kids a lot, and Nanny didn't have a big family, and they're all mostly, around 10 years or so younger than me or even more. So I've been around babies a lot, and I think it'll be good for him to just kind of have more of an understanding of what it's all going to be about and what it's like, and definitely educational for me too, because if I'm taking care of other kids, I've been able to give them up later on at the end of the day and not have to worry about the middle of night stuff and all of that. Fun.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah, so we'll have to check in again closer to time when you're in hypnobirthing, and you can give us some updates about how that's going.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. So in the closing minutes here, is there kind of any last thoughts that you wanted to share with anybody listening that might be going through what you're going through at this time?
I'd say the biggest thing is try to take everything day by day. I think I have some days where I feel totally pregnant. I feel completely exhausted at the end of the day working full time, or I just think to myself, I don't want to go back to work. I don't know how people do this to the very end. And then I also have days where I'm like, am I pregnant? I feel pretty good today. So I think the good days you have to get things done and appreciate it and just try to prepare. That's what I'm trying to do and HR keeps reminding me, just take things one day at a time. And he's been really, really helpful. And so for all the dads out there, being really mindful of how much work it is for us, for our bodies to be making this little person. And the struggle really is real, that it can be exhausting some days, or you just don't feel good or have energy. And so, I've been really appreciative of how much he's just stepped up and not only done his part, but my part when I'm not feeling well. So that's been really awesome.
That's really sweet. Good job, HR.
Thanks.
I mean, for us guys going through a pregnancy, sometimes it doesn't feel like we really can do anything, and picking up around the house or making an extra store run or whatever it is doesn't seem like much, but it adds up and it can make a difference. So good that you're jumping in and helping Amanda out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah. Good job. Well, so take good care until I see you next, whether it's on the podcast or in the office, and then we'll check in again closer to time and get some more updates. And thank you for sharing all of your kind of insights as well as your experience of things. I know it's kind of a personal experience, but I know a lot of people are getting a lot out of, hearing what you're going through, so they can feel, not as alone in it, and kind of feel that what they're going through is a common experience because they're hearing you going through it as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Well, we'll check in soon. Take good care.
Sounds good. Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. For more information about this episode and other natural childbirth and parenting topics, please visit us at capwellnesscenter.com or message us on our Facebook page with any questions you might have. We here at the Cap Wellness Center look forward to helping you and your family be as happy and healthy as you can be.